I color graded it in Final Cut, and it looked beautiful. Where the HDR looks like kind of crappy cell phone HDR.
Right. Yeah, we'll have to go over like what true HDR is tonight at some point.
Good,
because it's very confusing.
Well, there's a bunch of different stuff that we can cover tonight too. I guess I wanted to see if like one or two people would actually start watching us, but there's like zero. So here I was thinking that this big interlude before we actually went live, some people might show up, but apparently not. So I guess I can just go ahead and start this way, and then I'll come over here when we go down, and we're going to start the show. And howdy, everybody. John's going to be a little bit late. And please, everyone in the sound of my voice and on the internet, please wish our co-therapist, Mr. Ethan, happy birthday.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
John's going to be a little bit
older.
late. Yes, and he's catching up with us, as he pointed out to me multiple times today. So, and I can see in the chat, Ron Brown's in the chat. How can you do that? Two places at once. Jackson, RC Aviation, Artco Drone Solutions, Drone Shots is saying, Ethan, Zachary Keys here. Johnny Drone Flyer, good to see you. AZ Drone Dude, good to see you also. And Brian's telling me I'm wrong again. My wife tells me at least 50 times a day. That's what she's here for. Chris Hope is telling me hello, and he's saying hi to everybody else. Please, Chris, don't forget to tell Ethan happy birthday. I need to make a banner about that. So I'm going to go around the room, and I'm going to let everybody say how.
You don't have to make a banner.
Oh, come on. All right, I won't make a banner. Indigo's in the house. Good to see you, Ryan. Good to see you here. I'm going to flip it over to Ron, let him say howdy. And can you catch us up on what's going on in the FEMI Xeno world just real quick?
Hello, Bill, and hello, everybody out in the chat. And I wished Ethan happy birthday. All fair. I'll do it on air now. And good to be here. We're having kind of some cold weather here at the Jersey Shore, especially this far in the spring. So haven't flown much this week, but hopefully things will change soon. Not a whole lot going on. With the Xeno, we had like a small firmware update. I'm going to say, last week, and it added a screen where you start up the drone, and kind of like a DJI drone would give you a status screen of, if your compass is good and things like that. And that was kind of a pretty nice feature, but we're still waiting on the big update to come. And on the FEMI side of things, I did hear that a few people internationally are receiving the FEMI 2020, so it seems to be shipping in some parts of the world. So that's kind of the short and sweet update on the in the Xeno and the FEMI world. I'm going to throw it over to the birthday boy, Ethan, now.
Hey guys, I'm glad everybody's here. Glad to be here tonight. And yep, it's my birthday and another year older. But anyway, can't wait to get into some conversation about a lot of stuff that's going on lately. I'm really excited to see what you guys think about the Mavic Air 2 and see what Ron thinks. And hopefully, I think somebody else will be coming to join us later tonight. Mm-hmm. So really looking forward to it.
That's very cool. And as I said, John's going to be a little bit late. I think he's got some things he's got to take care of at home. Ron's repositioning his Air 2, as you can see. I practiced a little bit with mine, played around a little bit with mine. I don't know, like I heard James over at Above and Beyond Drones Jim was talking about Rec 2020. Ethan was like, yeah, let's bring that up in a little while too. So to begin with, I wanted to go ahead and get the obviously huge news stories out of the way. we've got Autel and DJI. Autel's finally won against DJI in a major court case, to the point of where if the board, which supposedly it takes a unanimous decision by the board to back up what the judges or what he's approved of, and then it would go into effect. So theoretically, they could be banned by July. But like I said, it takes a unanimous decision from the board. I don't know how many members, anywhere from 5 to 8, I'm assuming, that would have to all unanimously agree. Does anybody else have any more input on that part of it? So I don't think, other than a payoff, it's going to be that big of a deal. I think the bigger one was one that Hey Calestu brought up on his new channel, or his new drone news website, was about, what was it, Ron? The DJI. Let me just do it this way. I'll share it. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
We'll all look at it together.
Yeah. Drone XL, I believe, is the name of his new site.
Yeah. So if you're still wondering how Hay's still doing stuff, he's got his own, created another website and everything. He's doing it over there. It's Drone XL. We'll share the page here so you all can see what we're talking about. I love, the reason it drew my attention was I love this picture. The way they were, the cracking, because we're so used to seeing those letters so pristine, and they always really mean top quality. And there it is, all busted to hell and gone, and you're like, well, is there actually a crack in the armor at this point? So, but it talks about, oh, you're going to give me this. This isn't fair. All right, fine. I will just stop you this way, and you will disappear, I hope. Will you disappear? Or is it still there? No, it's still there. I have to hit this one. There we go. Okay, and then of course the other one is the one where, like I've been preaching and what told you all we needed to get together, is that they're going to put remote ID in effect next year. And here's a big question: are they going to brick every drone that's not remote ID capable?
Good question.
And go ahead and talk about what you were talking about, Ethan.
Well, I know, like DJI definitely, we all know DJI, a DJI drone definitely has the capability to be bricked if DJI chooses to do so. They could put stuff into, have you have a mandatory firmware update. They've done it in the past. I haven't seen them recently, but they've definitely done it in the past. And, that could render your drone useless unless it, falls into one of these designated areas. But I'm curious to see how they're going to move forward, because if they do that and they keep on this course with this really restrictive geofencing, I feel it's really going to hurt their business, with a lot of drone pilots knowing what's coming up in the near future.
Right.
Especially because the FAA is just building it and they're saying they're going to put it out by next year. There's been no talk to the manufacturers about what will be required on the actual drones themselves. So the drone manufacturers are kind of in limbo right now. So I'm really curious to see what DJI does. I think if they were smart, they'd probably be less restrictive and just let it go and leave it up to the pilot.
What do you mean?
But,
that's a good thought, Ethan.
If you can't find it, she had it on.
I mean, some pessimists would say, well,
tablet,
if
right?
all this road ideas, everybody will be locked out or restricted next year, so it won't matter what DJI's policies are, because the overall policies will be much more restrictive, and everybody will follow that law. I mean, does Autel? I'm going to name them, being the kind of the other big name you hear. Do they have also the capabilities to brick their drones remotely via a forced software update?
I mean, they definitely. I mean, they could. But I haven't seen the little time that I did have with the Evo last year. It had updates. It would notify me that, like, there was a firmware update available, but it still let me fly. I didn't have to do it. DJI has also done that recently, but I do remember in the past when I had a Mavic Air, and when I first got the Mavic 2 Pro, it would not let you even start the motors without a firmware update. So, it's really unclear about what could happen, but with this moving forward and lurking right around the corner for next year, I'd be very nervous about owning a DJI drone.
Yeah, well, not just that. Here's the scary part, and this is I'm going to go ahead and share this because part of what it says is terrifying, actually, because this is what's going to be nasty. I was reading through it, and it gets down here, and okay, we're saying this. Oh, wait, I think John's here. Give me a second. And Sean's here. John Oz is in the house. We're talking about the implementation of remote ID right now.
Oh, great. Give me a second. Let me put some headphones in so the audio sounds a little better.
All right.
Hello, Sean.
All right. So it says the Federal Aviation Administration is planning to have remote ID service for drones, a foundational component of integrating unmanned aircraft into national airspace, up and running by sometime next year, according to documents viewed by Avionics International. Okay, we all know about the 8-company cohort and all that stuff, but here's the scary part. You get down here towards the bottom, and it says when they implement this, they hope to have at least one UAS service supplier by 2021.
Yep. So monopoly.
They can name that. Yeah. And in the meantime, there's going to be a bidding war.
Oh, yeah.
And we're the ones that are going to get it right up the wazoo.
Oh, yeah. You're going to have a cellular contract for your drone, a cellular contract for your mobile device, and then you're going to have to pay the wireless carrier, whatever, or the data collector people, whatever they want to charge you per. And that's, it's all up in the air. Who knows what's going to happen?
Well, the thing that scares me is they're saying at least one. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And that one's really hoping to be the only one.
Yep.
And I'm just, it's like they're just seeing, it's a hobby. It's not something that we only buy this stuff because we love the sport. It's not because it's a necessity. And they're just thinking, oh, well, they'll keep spending money hand over fist, I guess. Or at least that's what I'm feeling like. I don't know. What do you all think about this? Sean, glad you're in the house.
Yeah. We'll let Sean talk first. He just joined us. How you doing tonight, Sean?
Not bad, guys. How are you guys doing?
Well,
good to see you.
I can say from just catching the ass end of what you were just talking about, there will come a point that most of us that do it as a hobby stop buying new technology because the technology isn't advancing enough. At $1,000 to $1,500, depending on which drone you get, or even $500, there comes a time that a little bit of a better camera or a little bit of a better frame rate just doesn't cut it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's okay. Go ahead, Ethan. Go.
I was going to say on the prosumer side, and on the with the weddings and stuff. I think we're getting to that point now where I'm starting to, before we moved out to California, I started having clients asking me about HDR content. And then you're talking 10-bit, an HLG profile or log profiles, the HDR that, these other drones do, and like your GoPros and your Osmo Action, that isn't like a true HDR like you would think. The true HDR has minimums, and a minimum is, it's got to be in a log or HLG codec, the 2020 color space, and needs a minimum of 10-bit color. So for actual true HDR content. So, and there's only one drone that I can think of other than the Inspire stuff. There's only one drone that can do that right now, other than the Autel Evo 2 Pro, I think could do it, but the Mavic 2 Pro can do it, and it can do it really well. So.
And I got to agree with you. I actually think that the sales will slow on the prosumer side or the pro side faster than the hobby side, because us hobbyists, we like the newest and we like the best.
Sure.
That's sort of what we do. We buy the newest thing, the new TVs, the new things that come out, and we're not really making money with them usually. But if you know what you're doing and you're doing it for a living, there's a point that it comes to that you can then just use Photoshop to create the same results or better than what you could just using the drone that's been upgraded slightly.
Right.
Very cool. As you can see, John just popped in.
Welcome, John.
Yeah, And since we're all here and we've got a few people here, like 20 people, we're going to say happy birthday to Ethan again. And if we get up to 30 people, I'm going to say happy birthday again to Ethan. So please,
thanks, guys. Thank you.
Earlier, please make Ethan feel as old as possible before he goes.
Make me turn red.
Yes.
And we get 100 in here. We'll get the cake on set.
Happy birthday. Let's wash our hands. Sing happy birthday for Ethan.
Oh yeah. I told him at work today, I never thought I'd have a birthday in a pandemic. So it was funny.
Right. At first.
Yeah. I never thought I'd live in a pandemic.
Right.
I just thought it was a movie.
That's what I told my wife. I was like, nothing this odd has happened in my lifetime. I mean, strange things have gone on, but nothing where we just kind of stopped everything.
So let me say happy birthday to somebody else. Pac-Man. It's Pac-Man's birthday today too.
No kidding. I
Pac-Man,
never knew that.
I think it's 40 years. 40 years today.
Oh wow!
Wow.
So Ethan invented Pac-Man on his 1-year-old birthday.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be something to talk about. From it,
he'd have a real nice house.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, I want to know a question about what he just laid out there before we were joined by John about the whole, FFA thing. Could there be a silver line to this bill? When there was administration change the last time, the current president fired a lot of people that head up certain divisions of the government. If there was a change in leadership going into next year, could the new leader fire the head of the FFA? And therefore, a certain somebody new, and we could maybe go in a whole different direction. Is that like a silver lining? Is that a possibility?
I'm not going to use anything like that for political gain, but I hope he doesn't fire the president of the Future Farmers of America, because we really need food. So
absolutely.
But the FAA thing, I'll be honest with you, I'm afraid that the dollar signs are going to hit no matter what politician sees them.
They're going to cross party lines.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to matter. I think that we're, even though there was 50,000 of us where we got to get in mainstream media. And maybe that thing that Bruce came up with, let me get that here in a minute and I'll throw it in here. He wants to get that international coalition going. Remember I posted that in Coast to Coast Drones the other day? Let me get you all talk about that. I'll get this and I'll throw it in here so everybody can see. Go ahead.
Ron, I find that it's very rare that anyone in politics or most companies, when they have a surplus, ever change what they're doing. you know, they don't like to give the money back. That's for sure.
Nope.
Correct.
So
go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so if they're doing something with the FAA that makes money and makes a lot of it, the only change you might see is that they might implement something that makes them more money.
Well, like I said, they're only guaranteeing us one provider. And that one provider sitting there with a steak knife in this hand and a fork in this hand and a big-ass bib going, let me at him.
And can we guess who that one provider probably already is in talks to be?
Yeah, probably. It's like I said, they got to be throwing money at them. How about this? How about this?
Air map, I would imagine.
Well, it's like I told Ethan. I'm already trying to get under the radar. As you can see, I've renamed myself. I'm calling Cuppi FPV. That's going to be my name, and the FAA is not going to find me and my race drone. They can pry this from my cold dead hands. They are not finding me. I'm hiding right now, starting today.
You're going dark.
They'll never find me. I'm going dark. I'm going underground, Ron.
If you've noticed, I've been in burrito for a week or so.
I tell you what, we'll have to throw some money at No Limit Drones to get on the stick with all the new DJI stuff. So
yeah,
Hey, did anybody get Bill's Beavis and Butthead reference there? In burrito?
Oh, it was Beavis and Butthead. I didn't catch that.
That was a great reference.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Wait a minute. Let me see who else in the chat. Canadian Drone Pilot's still here. Brant Ariels is here. Rojo Droner's here. Ron from RL Photography's in the house. And there's Matt Condiff's in the house. I think he was saying happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. Do you feel any older?
Yes.
A little bit older. Let's make up a song just for Ethan. Happy birthday to you.
That's quite okay, guys. I appreciate the thought, though.
We can't sing the real happy birthday song here because we have to pay the fee to sing it.
That's right. You got to pay the fee for that song.
Yeah,
You don't want to get billed and copyright slammed.
Happy birthday song.
Ron,
That's hilarious.
Marcus is here. DeMarco is here. Everybody, if you're just joining us, please tell Ethan happy birthday. And no, we still haven't begun to talk about the Mavic Air 2 yet.
Well, Bill, one more thought on the whole, a remote pilot ID thing here, whatever. Okay, we know that, and I'm criticizing government in general, not part of the drug, but we know when the government implements new things, it very rarely goes correctly and to plan and in a timely fashion. So, say 2020 arrives, and you have all these great ideas, but what if all the things never really come together and it's a big mess or whatever, and it stays a big mess for a long time, and we get to fly free during this scramble of everything going wrong? Maybe the last time the government implemented a new plan and it went well, it went to spec, everything went perfectly.
Yeah.
See, that's my point with remote ID to be the same way.
Yeah, as far as correct me if I'm wrong. A hobbyist registers once currently for $5, and that covers all our drones.
Correct.
So
For now.
yeah, just think whenever they go, well, we could raise that to $10, and they'll still pay it. But how many people do you think don't actually do that? What do you think the percentage is? And I'm curious, the people in the chat, what do you think the percentage is of people that open a brand new box, take this out, take everything out, and go fly it, and don't pay $5 to register?
A lot of people.
You think it's at least 50%?
I'd have a hard time putting a percentage on, but it's a big number, Sean.
I think even more than 50%. I would
think
say
you're right, Josh.
don't register.
Say that.
I would guess that it's probably 60 or 70.
Okay, how many people in the chat are registered? How many of you in the chat have? Oh, Johnny Drillfire's saying 20%. So he's going with.
He's low. Yeah, Johnny's low.
Yeah, I think
I paid my $5.
I paid my $5 too.
I paid mine and I can't find my damn number anymor. I don't know where it is.
Oh, remember we got that extension for an extra year. Remember?
Yeah.
Yep. Anybody who registered and then didn't unregister when they got a judgment that said it was illegal, your expiration date should be that. You should be good until the end of this year if you didn't deregister yourself.
Right.
Which I knew not to, because I knew they were gonna come back.
I was like, no, they're gonna jam us again.
Oh yeah, John Taylor pissed them off good.
So here's
Part 107. I got all mine registered, all my race drones and the camera drones.
So I didn't realize you have to register the race drones too, huh?
Yeah,
well,
they still fall under the.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's every drone,
yeah,
right?
the race drones still fall under that category. They're not under 250 grams, so.
But they're part 107. You have to do them individually. So even though you're not using them to make money.
Some of them I do. Some of them I take them to different shoots.
Okay.
Occasionally,
gotcha.
Only when they're requested. Every now and again, I'll get you'll have a groom ask for like a crazy, FPV drone shot, but it's rare. But
yeah,
I personally, and you guys can agree or disagree with me, but to this day, and I've said this since the beginning of time, is you can take a phone, a regular camera, and go to a wedding shoot or anything and make money with your stuff right here. But as soon as you got to make money with a drone, you got to pay the damn government.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think
I
it's
agree
ridiculous.
with you 100%. I really think that it is. I think it's a violation of freedom of expression. It shouldn't matter what video I take with my device. Okay, just like you said, I can shoot from this thing commercially, and it's no problem. Why do I need this special little stupid license to make money with my drone?
When I first got into drones, I actually was when I first started learning about this, I actually thought it was a joke that I had to get a license and everything. I was like, I said, but you don't need a license to be a professional photographer.
Nope.
What's the difference?
Yep, that's right.
So what if you what if you happen to have this and you're using it and you're holding it like this to do the filming or the pictures? You still owe the government money because it's that ass backwards.
Yep. Yeah, right. It doesn't. The law doesn't say it has to be in the air. It's just if it's a drone.
right?
Johnny Drone Fryer just said, "What happens if you take a picture of a rooftop? No fee needed." Yeah, exactly.
So
Great point.
what if you modded your phone there with some kind of propellers on it, whatever? When does that become a drone? If you home modded that with some kind of propellers?
You know,
I guess it
that's
is.
a good question.
Serious motors, man.
And if you recall, we didn't used to call these drones. We called them quads or
Right.
birds.
Yeah.
We fought hard to not call them drones. No one wanted to call them drones.
Right.
And then the news media called them drones, and eventually we gave up trying.
Couldn't fight anymore. Yep, we gave up.
I don't know if you guys ever saw this, but a couple of years ago when the Part 107 really started to come out and the whole thing was, it was because the drone is a remote aircraft by the FAA's definition. There was a company that tried to make a drone that was tethered, and it was actually tethered to a battery pack, and you controlled it through the remote through a tether. And they tried to get that to take off, and the government shoved it, basically squashed it, and said that they called it a powered kite, I think is what they were trying to get the classification for. And the government said, no, it's a drone. You have to do the same thing. And then so they just killed it.
So I don't know if some of you guys are old enough. I don't know if John is, but you remember the little airplane that had the two big D-cell batteries in it, and you held the controller and you pushed the button and it had a little string and you go around in a circle?
Yeah.
Airplane?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
Would we have to
something
register?
like that.
Would we need to register that nowadays?
I'm sure we would.
I didn't register the one I had as a kid.
I didn't either.
Yeah, so after they did the Reauthorization Act, it's really kind of sad. At the end of the day, if it's above 250 grams and it flies, you're supposed to register it. But here's the crazy thing, right? Or if it can fly remotely, right? You should register it. But the other thing is, technically, for anything below 250 grams, you still have to follow all the FAA guidelines. Like, I need to get FAA clearance to fly this thing legally, the way it's set up. I'm supposed to get clearance, even though this is obviously not going to hurt anything. Unfortunately, that's just the way it's structured.
So what's happened, because I used to do a lot of nitro planes and RC gliders, combat gliders, you hit each other out of the sky and all that stuff. What happens with the plane hobby? Like, are the nitro planes the same thing? What does this say?
Planes, helicopters, they all fall
So, the
under these
registered
rules.
tattoo artists, they've figured that out. So tattooing used to be a hard cash business, and somehow the government figured that out. And now they come in and they're doing all kinds. They figured their way to get money from us.
They get their cut
They
now.
figure out a way to get money
Yeah.
for everything.
Okay, so I found what I was talking about earlier. I wanted to get this up and share it. It's Bruce's new group. He's trying to get kind of an international thing going, maybe to get some media attention and stuff. So if you haven't already gone over and joined up, it's the International Model Aviation Safety League. So Bruce Simpson, otherwise known as XJet, has put this up to kind of get kind of an international, because he's basically seeing what's going on in the U.S. It's just like a model for every other country in the world. So he's seeing exactly what we're seeing. If we all don't unite now, we're going to get kicked out of the sky. So yes, so he's just saying, this is the forerunner of everything else. So if we got it by 2021, UK probably going to have it 2022, so forth and so on. So, and they're like, we need to do something now. But how are we, since we do know about this big, the money grab, because like Ethan was talking about, it was a financial grab, that they're seeing this as the potential for transportation and bulk transport through the air. Like Ethan was saying, it's a new highway, skyway, however you want to view it. How are we as hobbyist drone pilots and even as 107 pilots going to convince them to allow our little drones to stay in the sky?
Well, what we got to do is
I don't think you're going to
vote. Write in Lloyd, the grumpy vlogger, as your presidential candidate. He has already promised to eliminate this whole mess, FFA mess, as soon as day one on election.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, but
It'd be nice if it was
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be akin to, as we see a transition, it's going to be just like people that are used to ride their four-wheelers on the road. And then all of a sudden, the government says, oh, you got to have it, tagged now. It's going to be, people still going to be driving them on the road. until they come through with enforcement. So,
Yeah, enforcement is going to be the weakest link of a lot of this.
oh yeah,
It's just
I mean,
unfortunate that we're going to go from doing something that's legal to now suddenly we're outlaws if we want to keep doing it.
We
yeah.
turned it out. It's like an
appreciate
outlaw motorcycle gang. We're going to be
Right.
like the we got to come up with a cool name. What was the TV show about the motorcycle gang in California?
Didn't you see that thing I posted the other day in chat? I said called it Project Blue Eyes.
No, I didn't.
No, it was Project Blue Skies, but the skies part was spelled like with eyes because we're kind of looking out for each other.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was trying to say we're going to be like the Sons of Anarchy here pretty soon.
Right.
You know, I'd be
All
used
right,
to that
so-
already.
I think we've beat this horse to death. We're all unhappy with it. We don't know what to do to stop it. Maybe if we got together and and came as one voice and said, "Hey," because I mean, even if they would give us 250 feet and below,
You'd have to get a lot of people. I mean, you're probably looking at 100,000 people together or more to even get a
Yeah.
dent,
Oh, yeah.
even have your
All
voice
the,
heard.
those
at
companies, yeah,
we had
those companies that were on that list that are helping them develop this are some really, really, really big players. So yeah, I don't think.
Hey, speaking of companies, did you guys talk about? Ethan brought this up about DJI and what they might do to some of their drones in the future. Oh, this was already brought up previously.
We were asking if Altel could brick drones too, and we were like, "Yeah, pretty much, it's a possibility." So,
Oh, okay.
so we were just basically thinking. We asked the question: will they brick every drone that's not capable?
Yeah,
You
but it's
guys-
really interesting. I was like, given DJI's like status with the U.S. government right now, I'm very curious to see how they move forward. Very curious.
Me
On
too.
that article that Bill referred to earlier, the game of drones, it mentioned in there, and again, I'm not saying it's 100% factual because some people out there say it wasn't, but they said China has already become their main market for selling drones now. Then the U.S. their U.S. focus is going to decline going forward because we're not their major seller anymore. The comment period was everything.
Oh yeah. The comment period was a total joke, and their crew that they had set up that didn't change at all after the comment period.
Nice.
Just goes to show how they do not care about any of that. I think most of us knew that, but it was good to comment anyway because, well, then if nobody commented, then we would all say, "See, they're just doing this because nobody commented." Now we know. Now we know they're giving us the middle finger.
Yeah, see, Jim just came in and was talking about the article that I showed earlier about that from Aviation Today. So yeah, and the thing, like I said, and they're throwing money at them hand over fist to be that one supplier. Because the thing about it is they're giving us the facade that there's going to be multiple suppliers. But by saying that they're guaranteeing that there will be at least one. Will there be more than one? We don't know.
When you say supplier, we're talking about the remote USS.
Yes.
Yeah, which I don't even want to begin with. It's the whole USS thing is a whole disaster in and of itself. Never mind only having one. I don't care if we have 20 of them. I don't want it at all.
And what's sort of sad is if you guys saw the post that I posted in the Coast to Coast group page, was it last night or this morning? And it was a screenshot of a local neighborhood that I'm in.
There you go, Rob.
And
the gun nuts, right?
Yeah. That was a lot of comments you got about 6 years ago.
Easy now. I'm not trying to say anybody's a gun nut in the room now.
No, I'm saying, some of these people would shoot his drone out.
I'll explain.
Bad. That's a bad gun owner.
In this neighborhood here, if any of you are familiar with my content, I live in the mountains, and it's just gorgeous. You can pop up in your own backyard, and you're getting scenic views like a screensaver just from your backyard. And
so jealous.
Somebody is flying around. It wasn't me, actually. It wasn't me that day. It was somebody was flying around their drone in the backyard. I flew the day before. And someone said, "It's so annoying." And then in the comments below, you have people standing up for the drone owner, as well as people saying, "What? Why didn't you just shoot it down?" And so many people said that. which blew my mind because I know that was something that was said all the time about 6 or 7 years ago, which is why I made that old video of the girl coming out of the shower and the guy in the windows, and it teaches you what a drone can see from what height from your window. And I thought, I guess 700,000 views on that isn't enough people seeing it to realize no one's staring or peeping on their ugly butts in their own houses. You know, it's just that mentality that we still have to fight against now, even, you know, 7 years later.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And, you know, there is no good reason to take a gun and shoot a drone. It is a massive safety issue. And anybody who has a gun that thinks that's okay, I'm sorry. I mean, unless that drone is literally in your freaking window. And even then, you probably shouldn't discharge a firearm.
Throw a pal at it.
Yeah, throw a pallet.
Right.
Don't get your gun out. I mean, I have nothing against. Yeah, I mean, I have nothing against guns personally. You know, it's really not a big deal.
But now you get the people that live in more rural areas, and I'm considered rural. If somebody's out and they're flying over, like my dad lives in Austin, and I hear his neighbors talk about flying over, like shooting drones down. So anytime I'm at his house on his acreage flying, he always calls his neighbors and said, "It's my son, don't shoot it down." So I get it. If it's a rural area, these people aren't informed enough to realize at 100 feet or even 50 feet, the guy is not staring at you. Because most of the time, if they're hovering, they're looking off in the distance anyways. It's very rare. I don't know about most of you guys in the chat, but when I'm hovering, I am not pointing my camera straight down unless I'm doing a shot of trees or a lake or something like that. I'm not the type to sit there and try to map out somebody's backyard. If I want to do that, I got Google Maps for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, luckily going forward with drones like the little Mavic Air 2 here, they're quieter and smaller and less noticeable by the general public, and also harder to shoot with a gun since the size is smaller.
I could hit it with a shotgun, no problem. I guarantee you.
Oh yeah.
So, but here's the thing, though: if a drone is far enough away from your property that you got to use a shotgun to hit it, they're not looking at you. And if they're close enough that you could throw a towel at it or maybe a baseball or something, then maybe they're flying a little too low to your house. If somebody's 10 feet above your fence, they're either a douche, a really bad drone pilot, or they're peeping on you.
Or what do you call automatic landing went wrong. Precision landing went wrong.
Right.
My daughter had hidden her tablet from us, so with my wife and I were on an iPad hunt. She finally found it.
Oh, okay. She had to find my iPhone button or iPad button.
Well, no. What it is my and I think I've said this before. My daughter plays the same Jonas Brothers song over and over every day, like a million times or so. It's like, what a man got to do. So she plays it over and over every time. The platypus. It even looks like a platypus.
I love this one.
Well, no, I totally understand that. I totally get that. I just never was a big fan of the original. And as a result, I didn't fly it near as much as I should. And this kid over on the island is going to be flying it to death. So I'm not worried about it at all.
Did you get it sold?
Yeah, I sold it within 2 or 3 days of putting it up.
Was it the Fly More kit?
Yeah.
What did you sell it for?
$550.
Not bad.
Yeah,
it's a hell of a bird. I was watching Sean's range test.
Oh my god!
Wow.
I couldn't believe that.
Tell us about it. It went. I saw it, but tell everybody about it.
So this is the guys in the chat. Some of you might know this is the original Mavic Air 1. I just did a video with this and the new 2, doing a range kind of distance test, not necessarily to see how far the new one could go, but just to see how much stronger the signal is at similar distances to this one. And normally when I'm flying the original Mavic Air 1, I get anywhere from 500 to 1,000 feet, and I might get a little breakup. They did an update not long ago, which bumped me up to 2,000 to 4,000 feet, which blew my mind because up here in the mountains, when I first got it, I was getting, like I said, 500 to 1,000 feet all the time. Now, I don't know if that's due to different metals being in the mountains or because I'm still close to some city stuff, which means Wi-Fi is everywhere. But lately, it's been doing great. And in this test, I expected to get maybe 4,000 feet and get some breakup. but I got like 9,000 feet with the original. I didn't have time to go any further with that thing without the battery running out. You know, there's the battery on that one lasts just long enough that I got out to that 9,000 feet and I had to turn around and come back. Mind blowing to me. I know other people have done that before, but for me, it was crazy. What do we got going down there? What?
You can shoot down drones in Germany? That sucks.
Really?
Okay,
I can't believe that.
That's worth starting something. Yeah, like
everybody's Googling now. Is it illegal to shoot down drones in Germany? You know, I mean,
he could completely start a business out of that. You could start a shooting range and charge a lot of money to have somebody fly, pay to fly it and pay to shoot it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They also have different privacy laws over in Europe too than we do. Like, I don't think you can like randomly film like out in public without getting certain waivers and stuff. Like here in the US, you can film, you know, walking down the street as long as you're in the public domain, you know, and you're not making a, you know, business or a person the subject of your video. So but over in Europe, I don't think it's like that. You have to have special permissions, and they have different privacy laws over there.
I think that depends
that's probably
on where
why.
in Europe, because I got a good buddy that's in Denmark, and he films out in the middle of his downtown all the time. Not with drones, but with ground cameras.
The thing about it was I've gotten a brainstorm since everybody was talking about this. Since Sean brought it up, I've got it into my head. Okay, so we'll have beginner, intermediate, and pro. And beginner will be toy drones. Yeah. You know,
I'm telling you,
intermediate will be camera drones, and then of course the pros will be race drones, up 160 plus miles per hour.
There's people with enough money who would pay to fly and try to do that. Because, like, think if someone paid me $2,000 to try to shoot down a $500 FPV drone, let's go. You know, I'll fly my drone.
Something I brought up this bunch before, and of course they've all told me no, it wouldn't work because all the ski resorts plan stuff in their off seasons. But could you imagine flipping a ski resort into a drone resort in the summertime? You could ride up to the top, awesome. Fly your drones up and down the mountain and all around the routes and everything, either race drones, camera drones, or whatever. But instead of it being a ski resort during the summer, it would be the drone resort, and that's how you would fly.
Well, they're all closed right now, so technically I could go park like down the road from them as long as I'm not on their grounds and fly over the whole ski. I fly over the ski resorts when they're closed all the time as long as I'm not parked on their facilities.
Well, we were talking about one, like actually finding one that was old and abandoned and turning it into what, per se, a drone park, where you could literally fly anywhere and everywhere around the mountain. You could set up courses for FPV drones and everything and do filming and stuff there. People could ride chairlifts up to certain levels and fly around certain levels. But everybody's like, no, you'll never get it to happen. So.
No, I mean, actually, if you owned it, then you could, because they're not all in national forest. Or it's not national forest. You can actually fly in some national forests. It's national parks. You can't fly in.
National parks, yeah.
So because I fly in national forest quite often. I've had some jackass come up to me and be like, "You can't fly here," and I gotta go away.
Oh God, here we go. Now John's still litigating here.
No, I want to know because, well, he was saying that, it was judged last year that if the drone is over your property in Germany, then you could shoot it. Well, what constitutes as being over my property? If it's 400 feet in the air, is it still over your property in Germany? Does that mean?
What if a commercial jet flies over your property? Can you shoot that too?
What about a small helicopter? Because I'd like to shoot at one of those. That'd be fun.
Anybody that saw on my Facebook page last week, they were spraying for gypsy moth, and he was riding the treetop.
You could have hit him with a shotgun, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy, this is my property. What are you peeping on me?
Yeah, it was unreal how low he was flying.
No, it's a legitimate question because and we talk about that here in the United States too. What is the cutoff for what is considered your property? And I know there's some really old court case, something about some farmer or whatever went after the FAA, and it was something like 80 feet.
80 feet because the farmer claimed they were scared of his camels.
Right, Ron. Yeah, you remember it better than me. Yeah, it was something like 80 feet. That's
80 feet.
maybe what's determined.
Yeah, and I think that was more of a rule of thumb. I don't think that was ever like written down as a hard and fast rule. That was a rule of thumb, as you had 80 feet above your property.
Right. So yeah, I mean, it's a good question. Where, since Germany obviously has given people that right, where does that stop?
Yep. I think moving forward, it's going to have to be the art of get in and get out kind of thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Okay, so now on to the Mavic Air 2.
Oh, guys, I found a
He's
video.
got one more. He's got one more. All right.
One more. Okay, so let me see if I can share my screen. I made this is early. John might know this video. It's a long time ago. It's a Blade Chroma day.
Blade
This is
Chroma.
50 feet. Let me see. How do we do this? Share screen.
Somebody was talking about ADS.
Oh, that's cool.
I got a warning yesterday. It came up and told me when. Here's what's even creepier. It told me when it started talking to me when the plane got closer. So, first off, it just pops up and says, there's a plane nearing, take action. And then again, it popped up and it says, there's a plane near, lower to safe altitude. And then she actually came on and said, there's a plane near, lower to safe altitude. I was like, okay, man.
So how low does the plane have to be? Does it have to be under 400 feet for that to trigger or what? Because if a plane is at 30,000 feet, I don't think it needs to be telling me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't hear the plane or see the plane.
So from what I understand right now, it doesn't show you what height the plane is even at.
It just warns you.
Yeah.
It just warns
So
you.
this,
So if it's not even below, 600 feet, you don't really need to know about it.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, maybe for me, maybe not. I go up to 1,600 feet a lot though.
Yeah.
But I'm also in the mountains, guys. So
Yeah, but
everyone goes, what?
But I don't. Or do you think you have low aircraft that would be following the terrain like your
They
drone
shouldn't.
does?
No, they
Yeah.
shouldn't. They
Only
shouldn't.
if they're spraying for gypsy moss.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
you'll have helicopters that are under the peaks sometimes, but
Mm,
any kind of actual planes are always higher than the peaks of the mountains.
right.
I mean, they'd be foolish not to be.
Okay. Go
Now,
ahead.
this video that you can see here is just, I'm going to let it play in the background. We can talk. It's just something I made whenever everyone was freaking about spying in your backyard. And so you can see how that's on the right side is what you would see if you're looking up at a drone 50 feet above you. And that's what a drone sees. Already you can see people are dots. They're barely
Yeah, you can't even
at
see
all.
your face. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
So at 50 feet, should that be okay? I think that should be okay. I don't think it needs to be 80 feet because here's 100 feet. If you didn't know I was standing there, you might not even be able to see me standing there.
Yeah,
Right.
you know what's sad though, man? Even this image, because it's just the way people think, right? They'll see something like this and be like, "Oh, but can't you enhance it? Like on CSI, can't you make that bigger?" And it's like people actually
Enhance.
think
You can't invent pixels that aren't there.
people actually think you can get pixels that just aren't there out of a photo because of shows like CSI. It's actually a really big problem.
Well, the general public's pretty naive, and that's why things like this. And I'm actually thinking of making a new video after seeing these people react the way they did. An updated take on something like this. This is obviously before I lived in the mountains. Houston, Texas is pretty flat. So, but this is at 150 feet. And when I was looking down at 150 feet, which is a pretty standard height, I think a lot of us fly at, give or take 100 to 200 feet.
Yeah.
I would agree.
The cars look like Matchbox cars. You couldn't see me standing there with my son next to me, flying over even this. Well, you can see it's a closed water park. And I wanted to fly over that so bad, John, but I didn't trust my damn Blade Chroma. I was afraid it might have a flyaway and go off onto that freeway over there. So I was like,
I always had trust issues with my Blade Chroma too. I mean, the history of the thing and how some people would have it just go. So yeah, I was very reserved about it too.
I had that happen to me once. It was crazy and so scary. And it was in the mountains.
Oh, really? I didn't know it actually happened to you once.
Yeah, it came back in control, but for a slight moment.
Yes! Dennis hasn't been here forever. Good to see you, Dennis. Glad to have you here. Okay.
Looks like an interesting park, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Looks really cool.
Okay, here's my question. Now, with the newer drones capable of optical and digital zoom, how far could you zoom in and get a clear picture?
I thought about making that video. But I don't want people to see that answer. Because
Right.
the general public sees that answer. And only the Mavic Zoom is real. I mean, okay, so the Autel does it too, but it's pretty pixelated. But the Zoom, you can actually go pretty far. And
It's like 4 and 4, isn't it?
yeah, it's like 8 total, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
it's clear. It's a clear picture too.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Yeah. I was wondering why. Wait a minute. Gary's talking about. Oh, wait a minute. Crossfire could fly right up to an object.
Oh, really? Yeah, but Nemo, what kind of video are we gonna get from our analog, man? That's like the worst. Someone should do a video on that. What can you see with an FPV drone?
yeah. Oh yeah, that's what you need to show everybody, the analog feed, and then nobody will be worried about anything.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's for sure, right?
So, like from the Fat Shark. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is the article he was talking about where they actually sided with the guy shooting down the drone.
That's crazy.
And I believe you completely, dude. I'm not saying that, I believe you totally.
Yeah, I'm surprised actually, but
Hey, Gary, say happy birthday to Ethan. He's actually 41 today. And again, Ethan, thank you for your service, putting up with this craziness still going on. We're very grateful for you, sir. And a happy birthday, and hope you get a big piece of cake later.
oh, yeah, I see Nemo's throwing some punches, Ethan. He
see
just
that.
called you DJI Ethan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, I gotta say real quick,
I
guys.
on Fat Shark. That's probably why.
And the grump one came in. Have y'all? Have y'all heard about what happened to him the other day? He was on Grump Force 1, and there was a near miss with the drone. Have y'all heard about that?
No.
Oh, hang on. I think I still may have that footage somewhere.
Speaking of DJI Ethan, just check out real quick. Look at this awesome Osmo mount for a Cinewhoop I got coming. Ethan printed for me. He fitted it and did it all for me. It's badass. I can't wait.
Oh, and he even got the little logo on it. That's
yeah,
sweet.
he even got the little logo. He's DJI Ethan. Of course, he's got the logo. It's great. It's a great cover. I mean, it'll protect the front of the camera and everything.
It looks awesome, and I love how the logo's cut into it too. Excuse me.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so are we actually ready to? While I look for this, actually ready to talk about the good, bad, and the possibly ugly of the Mavic Air too?
Does it matter? DJI is going out of business. Auto has sued them and won. Everything is shutting down. DJI is going out of the United States.
Oh,
everyone's minds are blown.
John, we're going to go out swinging though.
Okay, something Jim had posted earlier too. There was actually, it's called the standard specification for remote ID and tracking. But good God, they're like $85 a piece to read. You know, you can get the PDF, right? It's $85 for 67 pages. This is how the government's already starting to make money, I guess. And if you want a hard copy, why would I want a hard copy of how they bit me over for $85? I mean, I guess if I was going to get one, I would get the hard copy. But yeah, I don't want to spend $85 to see that, man. But it's and you cruise on down and it's telling you the specifications. So they've already got a general idea of how to do it. So maybe it may be the way this is reading. Is Jim still here? Jim, if you're still here, is this talking about that they may be able to use present technology? The way this is reading, it looks like they may be able to do with what we've got here. But this mainly, we all know it's for beyond line of sight. So anyway, back to the subject of...
Dennis said DJ won't be impacted by that nonsense. I know. I was just kidding.
Yeah, we weren't actually serious.
No. Everyone is I was laughing all over the last 2 days because everyone's like, "Oh my God, holy crap! DJI and Autel won in 60 days. Nobody's gonna be able to buy a DJI drone here in the United States. Oh my God, is my Mavic Air 2 gonna ship? What? It's like really,
It's
really
like Apple and Android, you know.
Yeah.
One pays for something to the other, and it keeps on moving.
If this plus the remote ID issue may or may not slow down the Mavic 3, or is it already going to? Because they're going to have to wait and fit it with what the remote ID specs are called, right? Because they don't know yet. We don't know yet. So they really can't build a drone that's set up for this system because they don't know what the specs are yet.
Well, Ron can actually help me answer this. Ron, I think the Mavic Air 2 already has a change made that allowed DJI to get around that problem, because my understanding is the Mavic Air 2, you can actually put the wrong prop, right?
Correct.
On the motors.
Correct.
There was some people, some lawyers, and I forget what channel it was on, that said that if they made it so that way the prop, even if it clicks in, if you could put it on the wrong motor, yet you actually have to pay attention, that would be one possible way that they thought that they could get around it. Oh, so you can put the wrong props on.
The latest thing, John, is this lawsuit. Well, it did go through, but this lawsuit actually sticks. The only two DJI drones they'll be able to sell is this and the Mini. Apparently, the Mini also has the new prop set up too. And I think everything else that currently is shipping right now will be in violation of the patent.
Okay, so you're okay. Gotcha.
So there'll be two DJI drones on the shelf if this lawsuit sticks, if it doesn't get overthrown in a higher court. Which, I mean, I don't know anything about the law, but people say that this decision won't get through a higher court. But again, I'm not a lawyer. I never played one on a TV show. I
could do this while we're playing.
Yeah, but I was just thinking that they had kind of already gotten around it.
Well, when you get this drone, John, it comes. I never saw so many tags. It's got yellow stick,
right?
Another color sticker in here, and the bags. The prop came in. It was the most color coded John I've ever seen in my life, John.
Yeah, they did that on purpose.
These are the A props, and these are the B props.
Right. And this is the other thing too. To anybody that thinks that this is going to stop DJI, at the end of it, even if it ends up being okay, whatever, Autel, we'll deal with this. It is what it is. DJI already probably planned for what would happen if they lost this whole thing. And I think just that design alone there on the Mavic Air 2 proves it.
Mm-hmm.
They were thinking about what would happen.
They knew they would lose it, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
John, first drone I ever bought that didn't come with the props on was the Bang & Tools X16, right? So I put the props on wrong, right? And of course I hit the up thing and it flipped right over. And guess who helped me? So I didn't know what to do. So this is years ago. So Quadcopter 101, Jim was still a smaller channel then. So I contacted Jim, and Jim told me how to put the props on right, and then I was fine. But that was the old days when Quadcopter 101 didn't have a million subs.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Ethan knows us race drone guys. We got to be careful what way we put our props on. We got to look at it every time. There's nothing that's going to help us out if we put the props on wrong. It's just going to flip, and
you'll know instantly.
Right.
You'll know right away.
Yeah. It's not going to get way up in the sky and have a problem. It won't make it an inch off the ground before you know you got trouble.
Yeah,
I have a really easy way of knowing it.
Even if you do put them on backwards, it's not like it's going to destroy your drone. You're going to get it scuffed up. It's just going to do a little.
Right.
So, what do you guys think of the camera on that bird?
So I just did a video, and I'm working on a new video that's going to show it side by side with the original Air and the Zoom.
Good.
I think that's a good combination of drones to show. Honestly, the new video, if you look at the one that I just did with the distance test, there's a shot going around this little peninsula that I did a very similar pan with both drones. And I didn't put them side by side because it wasn't about that. But I'm going to be using that shot in another video. And believe it or not, the Air 1's camera, it's pretty solid. And it's almost more crisp looking than this one.
How about compared to like the Skydio?
I think it's a better camera than the Skydio.
I think it's different.
Yeah.
That's exactly. The Skydio, the way it shoots video just seems different from any other drone to me. That's just to me, I guess. But the I don't know, the aspect seems different. I don't know.
Speaking of Skydio, Sean had a little bit of a pickle while he was filming with his Skydio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a bit of a spill.
A little bit.
When he showed it to me, I was like, dude, I thought you weren't going to stop. He goes, I didn't think I was going to stop either.
Oh yeah, when I saw that, I was
Really
like, oh.
Well, I'll answer Ethan's question. Right, for people who don't want to edit anything at all, I think Skydio still looks better, or whatever. But the what the Mavic Air 2 brings to the table is it has a descending color profile there, which isn't as flat as a log profile that you get on the Mavic 2 Pro, but it's flat enough that you could do a nice color grade on it and without a whole lot of work. And by doing that, it makes it look better than the video you're getting out of the Skydio 2 because you cannot. They have no flat color profile to do that. But I'm gonna throw this at Ethan. I haven't fully tested yet, so I'm not going to make this commitment yet, Ethan. But I'm not sure it's any better than our little Parrot Anafi drone.
Interesting.
I shot that with the Mavic Air 2.
I'm not sure it's better than the Anafi.
Did you hear me?
Yeah. The Anafi's log is pretty good.
Yeah, pretty flat.
That right there, I shot that with the Mavic Air 2 and edited it with an R4.
Nice, very nice.
Oh,
Very nice.
Battery's about to die.
Well, let's go over the pictures for a second, Bill. Okay, what the type of pictures it can take? It can take just a single photo, as we're used to. It can take the 48 megapixel photo, which it's using split the sensor, whatever. And I can't explain that technology. And then it takes a smart photo, which is better than an HDR photo, I think. Yep. And then of course you get bracketed photos. What do you think, Bill? I like the smart photo better than an HDR photo on other drones.
I actually like the smart photo better than the 48 megapixel photo. But again,
I agree
I'm talking about for internet stuff. I'm not talking about for print or big scale work. There's a difference. You got to remember, we're talking black and white here to different people, and all the gray in between. You've got people that do it professionally that blow giant prints versus us that do stuff for YouTube, and we do stuff for Facebook and Instagram. And that smart photo for Facebook and Instagram, it's very nice.
Very nice. Yeah.
I wonder if it's got its own little automatic Luminar 4 built into the software somewhere.
I think it's just got it's got a better algorithm than an HDR photo would come off these type of drones. It just does more things. It does more than just punch the vibrance up and the contrast up. That's basically what an HDR photo on a drone like that would be. It would just punch those two things up. This does a little bit more behind the scenes, those two tricks.
And this was Luminar 4 too. It was taken with the Mavic Air. Also yesterday, about 5 minutes after I got the warning for a plane nearby.
I do like watching everybody's videos on this. I have noticed one universal thing is everybody talks about how nice it flies. How would you say it flies? Does a lot of people even said it flies better than the Mavic 2 Pro?
It's right on the same par. I couldn't
butter smooth.
If I had gliders on, I couldn't tell you if I was flying that or the Mavic 2. It's that good. Even in the wind.
And the Air 2 makes less noise than the Mavic 2 Pro.
Oh yeah, it's the quietest. I'm going to say it's almost as quiet as the Anafi, Ethan.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, I was stunned at how. And like I said, if it's 100 feet in the air and if you're not looking up, you'd never know it was there.
Which is great, especially given what we were talking about before.
Hey, Bill, I have a couple seconds of color graded footage from the Mavic Air 2, and I have it in Final Cut. And I have Final Cut open, and I think I can share it from the application. But do you want to try it?
Yeah, that'd be fine. And then Sean's got something he wants to share with us after you get done with that.
Okay, but let me see if this actually works here. Let's see here. Okay. Application window, Final Cut, share. Now I always get the screen that says I don't have permission to do this. So go ahead, Sean. I never have permission to do that.
Oh wow, I like that.
So this, I'm trying to. I think this is with the smart mode, and this is probably about 300 or so feet above this mountain ridge on the left here. That's right over there.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's a pretty beautiful shot of the neighborhood, and I got a couple other. I just want to quickly skim through some of these, and I'm trying to remember which one of these is 48. I think that's 48 megapixel. So you can see it's sort of the same. I wish I could do them side by side. Actually, maybe I could do something real quick, and I could flip flop them.
Okay. But it looks like
so the 48 megapixel should be definitely more definition and more crisp, but it's not going to be out of the camera as usable. So let me try and share this other screen because I think I figured out a way we can make this work.
Okay.
So I'm still messing with StreamYard. I'm getting it down pretty quick, but this should.
Well, they've updated a bunch of stuff there. It handles applications now, whereas before you had to open everything in Chrome.
So this is going back and forth. So you see how much darker it is in that one versus that one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of that is because of the fact that I'm pointing my gimbal a little more down.
Mm-hmm.
But look at the mountains off in the distance, how it's bringing the light to them. And I have another picture that I can show you in just a second as well. I'm going to damn, I should have opened them all. Let me open them all real quick. There's only like 5 of them. And I'll be able to skim through them easy that way, and I'll share that. Oops.
Ron, did you ever get your stuff working too?
Nah, I'm still trying, Bill. Hang in there.
All right. I've got some raw stuff too on my end.
Well, while you guys are getting things queued up,
Go ahead.
I dropped a link in the chat, and it's an HDR content that I put up. Doesn't have any music, where it's just like still in the testing phase, where I'm trying to like dial in a procedure for like color grading this stuff. But it's designed to play on the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So anybody wants to click on that link and check it out, and you can switch your phone over to HDR mode. Basically, same spot where you would change the resolution on YouTube. It's going to be in the same spot.
So this is my backyard.
That's awesome.
That's my neighborhood down there. I spent 4 to 5 years planning to try to be able to move here and saving a lot of money. But
gorgeous.
It's like I'm saying, you can fly out of your back. So that mountain that we saw in the other picture, you can hike up to the top of that and just fly out like 50 or 100 feet, and poof, you get this shot. Wow. And it looks like you're like crazy high when you're actually not that high.
When you're not, yeah.
Baby.
I think this is the smart photo. This is not edited. I haven't tweaked it. No Lightroom, no Photoshop. This one here, sort of the same thing. This was so that you can see the Breckenridge Ski Resort off in the background there on the right, which is pretty cool. Where was this? Here we go. Here's a much lower, regular looking picture.
All out.
This is with the smart mode on the phone too. And I wish that I had a 48 megapixel of this exact spot so we could compare it. That might make for a pretty cool side-by-side video, I think. But yeah, this is what the smart mode. The smart mode is, I'm finding it really good for reflections in water.
Yeah, I can see that. Look at that.
Yeah, so this is again the smart mode. I just stopped taking pictures in all the other modes. I'm just using this mode.
When did he first come in? Oh, let's see. He said hello. Wait a minute, what's this? Unavailable.
And that mountain, the round one, that's called Buffalo Mountain. If you guys have been on the channel for a while, the last 2 years on my birthday, I've climbed that and made a video climbing it. It takes like forever.
I can do that in Washington State too, Johnny. Just to let you know. And you can do it in Colorado, but Sean doesn't do that.
What's that?
He said that was legally high.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't do that. No, I got it. I'm like, out of my head.
You gotta change your name. You gotta change your name like I did. And then they can't get you.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Here's a smart photo I took on the beach last week, and that's unedited in smart photo mode.
Unedited?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Very nice.
That's smart photo. Yeah. Just hitting the smart photo button.
That's impressive.
Very nice. Yeah. I haven't gone that far, but it makes me want to go out and fly now, even though it's raining.
Hey, Ron, how is it flying on the beaches in Jersey? Are they a real pain in the ass about drones or nah? Because in Florida, they can be real pains in the ass.
I live in a small town here to the beach. I've never had anybody say anything to me. In fact, the city workers that take care of the beach in the morning, when I'm flying down there in the mornings, they kind of know who I am because they like seeing the beach videos on Facebook or whatever. They're all on Facebook. Nobody's on YouTube. Down here, but they always say you're the drone guy, whatever. People come over and shake my hand. I'm like a hero because I fly the drone here, not an enemy.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Hopefully, no handshaking right now.
Oh no, this is last summer. No. Yeah. Okay, but I'm going to go over. I think I can get that other thing going here. So let me see. Let me stop this and try to get that little bit of video going here now. See if I've mastered it now. Let's see here. Now I can't even see the application anymore. So I haven't done anything. Sorry.
It's my custom mask.
Nice Pikachu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
I gotta wear that when I'm working.
Yeah. We have to wear them all day.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you get to take it off every certain amount of time, don't you? You don't have to wear it for like 5 hours straight.
Yeah, we got to use them. We got to can't take them off, and we have to use the same one all week.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, wow.
Wow, man.
Why don't they give you replaceables?
They don't
Because
have
they don't have them.
Literally don't have them.
Yep.
You
I
can
mean, it's
buy
getting
them all
so
over
bad.
Amazon.
Yeah. Well, not the hospital approved.
Oh, you want the
crap.
the N95s or whatever.
Yeah.
Or the thing that's killing me is if y'all noticed coming up on all the Chinese sites, or all the discards are coming up for sale. They're saying certified M95, and then you get it, and there's like, well, it's got a minor defect, but it's still,
I actually tore apart an N95 just to get the metal piece for the nose there.
Oh.
Yeah, I still got other 95s, but anyways, I'm just getting us off
Did
subject.
y'all see
Sorry,
that?
guys.
Philly's Michael's in the house. Glad to have you, Michael. Metro Drones Bill's in the house. We're hearing a lot of conversation going on, and people have been talking about different things that we've all been talking about. But we've just gotten heavy duty into the Mavic Air 2 and what we do and don't like about it. Right now, I've flown mine 3 times, and I haven't found anything that I dislike.
I don't like that.
Oh, the new power button? Yeah,
No,
it's
I
kind of
miss
weird.
the old long lights, man. I'm
Yeah.
sure that's much cheaper for them to make, though.
Yeah.
That much
I
less
don't like-
LEDs, right?
I don't like that the plastic's cheaper. Hear that?
Mm.
It pushes in. You can actually push the plastic in. Doesn't mean it's bad. It's just compared to the Air 1, that little thing's a shit brick house.
Well-
And this thing feels more toy grade. It flies better, though. It does fly better.
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. Dono slammed one into the side of a building and then flew it the next day.
Yeah,
I
but
think that's a pretty good testament.
Oh yeah, it was solid.
most of the DJI products will do the same thing.
What?
I've crashed most of them. They still work.
I kind of
that's
wish they kept the
terrible.
same form factor. I thought the first Mavic Air had the best form factor out of
Did you
anything.
fire it up? Did you fire it up with the gimbal guard still on?
This one or the old one?
No. See, Metro Drones is saying he had to send his back for a replacement gimbal overload error, and I've had that happen before. Like if I had forgotten to take the gimbal cover off.
Yeah, I just usually reset my drone and it works after that.
Well, he apparently it didn't. He had to send it back.
That is a bummer. One thing I can tell a lot of people, I've made a lot of videos about how to hand catch and land the drone. A lot of people, when they catch it, they want to go like that, right? Which stops your drone immediately.
Yeah.
I spoke with the head of DJI customer support in China, not the American version, the head, and that is only meant for emergencies. Like, oh crap, you're going to hit something. Oh crap, it's going to fall down and hit somebody else, or it's landed and flipped over. That can actually mess your gimbal up. And with my Mavic Air, I actually jacked up my gimbal, my original one, doing that. It's now working again, but it took almost a year of resetting it, recalibrating it again and again and again and again, to not get it to sort of do these weird little side glitches. And that's from this.
John, I think this statement's for you. Look the highlighted statement.
It has a bag wheel.
I think we know which video that was, and that particular gentleman was.
It's struggling. It's struggling.
It was a speculation video. Speculation videos are okay. There were a lot of people that weren't particularly of the same opinion as said video. And that particular reviewer even forgot to check for, here's something else. This is something that we have learned is always make sure your obstacle avoidance is on before you test flying it at a tree. So,
I know where that's
Full
going.
force at a tree. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And if you don't, it will hit the tree.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
right.
we
Because
have
obstacle
learned
avoidance
that.
not on.
We're
John?
very grateful for that.
Don't feel bad, John, because when I first got the Autel Evo, I was doing sensor tests with the sensors on and did a front to the tree and then did a ass into the tree. Turns out the rear sensor on the Evo 1 doesn't actually stop it. So
Right.
I flew backwards right into a tree and it fell
I was
down.
just gonna,
into the
I was
snow.
gonna say they're not talking about me. They're not talking about me.
Oh, they're not.
They're not. No,
No,
we're talking about somebody else.
It's just a video that we've all happened to have watched
Yeah.
excerpts of this
Yes.
particular reviewer's YouTuber's channel.
It's
and
in Coast to Coast Drones.
yes, he's
in the group.
Now
You'll
he's
see
not.
it.
He's not. No. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. He's not saying that what he's doing is right. He's telling you I flubbed it up. You know, I made a mistake. He tells you that in the videos. He's like, I messed up. Don't do what I did. So yeah. But he's noticed that apparently the gimbal will not take the same hurricane force winds that the original Mavic Air will take. And he's speculating that the gimbal, therefore, is weaker because it's more exposed. Yes, because it's more exposed. So,
Interesting.
but yes, but I like I said, there's nothing so far that I have not. And by the way, Ron, what was this big announcement that Lauren was going to have today? This groundbreaking news that he was like teasing you all with last night.
What did he say that Bob would drop today? Well, I kind of had a busy day and I didn't get the fiery devices up to see. I was speculating that maybe he meant the smart controller will get its upgrade so it could run with the Mavic Air 2, but I did not get a chance to fire the smart controller up today.
Ron Birdman's in the house saying howdy to you. Rick saying howdy as well. Rick, we hope you're doing well and recuperating well, sir. And you can take off, Ethan. It's your birthday, man. We don't want to. You and your wife go have fun if you want to go have fun because it's starting to get dark here.
It's much funner being having a pandemic.
I've actually got a list here, and I don't want you to see it because it's an upcoming video.
Okay.
Look at how much writing on that. That's a lot of writing. That is a comparison of the two. Which has what, which doesn't have the other.
But yeah, he actually made it. He said that it was, what did he call it? A serious flaw, or was it a major flaw, or something like it wouldn't handle 22-mile-an-hour winds and above.
I don't know if I believe that because I just brought my. I mean, it might not have for him. I don't say that. I don't
it's
believe
actually
him.
in the specs because she shows it in the specs that it's saying that the gimbal will not handle a direct wind of higher than what is it? But it's in metric, of course.
Well,
it equates out to being like what, Ron?
Well, I have something to say now. When I flew at Saturday Beach, I had gusts up to 22, let's just say to 16. And when I was flying the drone at the wind gust, it did move the gimbal. When I had the gimbal tilted slightly upwards, it did push the gimbal back down again more than once. But that also happens on a Mavic 2 Pro. If I'm flying into a gusty wind and I have the gimbal angled up a little bit, it'll push to the down position.
Also happens if you're in sport mode going real fast.
Which you'll see in that video, the for my first impressions video, I was getting this killer shot in sports mode, flying really fast, which sucks because you want to sometimes get these fast panning shots, and this thing is smooth. I gotta say, I always turn my yaw down on every drone I get that's a camera drone like this.
Yeah.
I make it almost as slow as possible, and you can't do that. I spent an hour on that Fly app. I think I even emailed you, Bill, and said, "Hey, do you know how to turn that down?" I was sick of looking. And you can't. Yet I went out there and flew it, and that new controller, I thought that was going to be the thing I hated the most about this drone. I honestly, watching all the videos, everything about the controller, I thought it was stupid. I thought it was going to suck. And it's actually the feature about this drone I like the most. If I could fly any of my other drones with that controller, I would. And then I'd reassess, because I don't think it's the drone so much that makes this the best or such a good drone. I think it's the damn controller.
You could be right, Sean.
Yeah, I have to admit, I love the controller too. I thought, but that I'm so used to those brackets on the back being so flimsy, but you don't feel like that with this.
Yeah.
You feel like it's sturdy, and you don't feel like you're going to worry about breaking it or anything.
Let's see if you can see. So it actually has notches in it right there for your buttons on your phones, which is awesome.
Yeah.
On the pads, you see those buttons? Your buttons slide right in there, no problem. So when you pull it out, you just flop it open to here. Here's my phone, and you just quickly right in there, and now it's locked and solid.
And look, he's got his case on too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really good.
I'm putting some Look at I'm flopping
It holds it good.
I do the
Yeah.
same thing. I put my iPhone 11 there with the case, and it stays in perfectly. Where on the old Mavic controllers, I always have to take the case off to get the
Yeah,
fit.
I
Yes.
always have the case off when I fly normally. Another thing I noticed is I do a lot of screen recording, right? So, you have to be able to slide and touch the edges of your phone to do stuff, right?
Hmm.
In the other case, you can't get up here and get a grip on the edges, like to go back and do things like that.
Right.
Hmm.
But they're exposed. So I have full control of my phone. And I think that's probably a huge part of why they're doing this is because the next iPhone is becoming even more borderless. The Galaxies and stuff are becoming more borderless. And it's becoming harder and harder to actually use your phone in the old cases.
I like that very much.
And thanks to John Cuppi for talking me into getting the original Mavic rig the original rig for the Spark. When I got it, he had gotten the Mavic, and I got the exact same insert, and now I use my iPad Mini 4
Nice.
with the Air too.
Hey, so your Mini 4 works really well with it? Oh,
Seamlessly,
nice.
bro. I mean, it works like fantastic.
Because my Mini 4 is still perfect, but I mean it's old. It comes from, what is it, the A6 chip or something like that? It's old ass, but
It works great. I didn't have any breakup issues, no problems, nada.
Well,
No,
Philly
nice.
Lake, Philly Drone, who's still in here, I think he had a problem doing the screen recording and all at the same time with the iPad Mini 4. But
I did not.
he is a 4 and a 5 both.
Oh, Jesus, that boy spoiled.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sean was going to show us something, I believe.
I was just going to talk about these thumbsticks. This is another thing that I thought was going to be one of the downsides.
No, he wants Ron to see this question.
Gotcha. So I thought I was going to dislike how they're mounted in the bottom.
Mhm.
I figured they'd fall out and they'd be flimsy. And if you push them in with the padding first, you'll notice that they do stick out.
Yeah.
But to keep them in securely, you actually put in the threaded side first, and then push that in, and it's in there.
Yeah.
Like it's in there a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It's also, I tried this because like the way, if you can see in, can you guys see in there?
Hang on,
You see your USB-C, and it's a USB-C because it's an Android, so they're both USB-C for me right now.
Yeah.
And I was messing around just seeing, because I wasn't sure if the left side was actually an input also on here. So I tried flip-flopping it, and it only works if you take it out and leave it in
Okay.
on that side.
I was wondering that too, Sean.
I tried it, and I couldn't get it to work the other way because I thought it'd be nice to, instead of pulling it all the way around, to power it on this side if I wanted to flip it. Which you probably could if you took it out and turned it around. Because, USB-C can go either way. So, yeah, you could turn it around and still power it that way. But then you wouldn't have access to push it back in like this so easily because the wire would be in the way.
But yeah, or you just get a longer cord.
You know what?
That would work too.
You know what DJI needs to do? They need to do what TBS did with the Tango 2 with the folding gimbal sticks. That's what they need to do. Unless there's a patent on that, then they can't do that. But I thought that was brilliant by TBS. Just have the sticks fold down. Ethan knows what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And then it would completely eliminate any screw in, screw out, losing the piece or whatever.
And let me tell you why they're not going to do that. Because what do they charge? $10 for a new set of these? Something like that.
Oh, they got to make up for that lawsuit from All Talent Somewhere, right?
There you go.
Right.
So another thing that I don't know if you guys know, but they're not having a physical home button on here, but you can double tap the return to home button. I'm sorry, a pause button. I'm talking about a pause button. If you double tap the return to home button, it instantly pauses it, stops it dead in its tracks.
Oh.
Just in case you didn't know that.
Okay, that's good.
Because that was something I was like, well, that's stupid. They got rid of the pause button.
Now, how do you guys feel about having no telemetry on the controller itself? There were a lot of people that were upset about that, and I feel like I don't really care.
I never really looked at it. I always had my phone hooked up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I get what he's saying. He's saying what Mike is saying is it's just one side actually has the C connection, and then the other one's just a place to stick your plug.
Yeah, and honestly, I just noticed that when I pulled it out here on the show.
Well,
I
we're
just
learning
didn't
as we
say
go
anything.
here.
I didn't want to come off like a moron.
No, it's okay. Nah, none of us are morons. We all got to stick together. We need to stop bickering amongst ourselves because obviously, since they're going ahead with remote ID, we got to figure out another way to get their attentions and go, look, man, you all wouldn't have thought this was such a lucrative field if we hadn't blown so damn much money in the first place.
Yep.
No. We gotta not get their attention at all. We gotta go underground. See,
No,
I'm getting
there's
ready
probably-
right here. Well, I forget my fingers. I'm terrible at this.
There's two ways, Bill, for us to achieve that. One is we get a lot of us together. We're talking hundreds of thousands.
Mhm.
Two, we get a lot of us together to stop buying the next few years worth of new products. You stop buying drones for 2 years, nobody. They're going to change some
They'll
rules.
go commercial full blown.
Oh, I'm telling you, every drone company and the maker will come out of the woodworks to fight the government for us.
Mhm.
Over the Devil's Canyon.
Well, the one good thing about everything that's going on is that iNav is actually getting really, really close to be able to build your own DJI type drone. I mean, it's getting really, really close. I think the flight controls and everything are getting really, really close. And now the only thing left is to have a camera system that can, interact with a home built drone.
Hmm.
So, iNav is getting to the point where it's got GPS, it's got altitude hold, position hold. It's even got a section there where you can add optical flow sensors to the drone. So, I mean, it's getting really close to like a camera style drone, but you're still limited to just, slapping a GoPro on there.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
I think it's, it's to the point where like the Phantom ones were,
Mm-hmm.
So, Bill, I just actually was messing around with this with no sticks in it. And you can really feel the springs in it that way. You can feel that the X and the Y just right to left, up to down, and how there's a huge amount of tension trying to go from left to top right on these thumbsticks without the thumbsticks in them. I don't have one of the older ones with me, so I can't really compare to see if the spring tension is that much different, though.
Okay, so I'm going to throw up some. This was the last little segment of the flight that I did. It was in the HDR recording. You can see there's some noise in it, some pixelation, and it really looks like it was light enough. All I can figure is where the settings were on auto. It may have been the issue. So you all can look at it. I know it's not going to be great there for you all, but let's see. Let me back over here and fire it up. See it, the color, I know it's going to be broke up, but the color looks a lot better than just this way coming out of it than the Skydio. The Skydio looks good, but not like this. These look
So
more
is
like
that normal or is that desemi-like?
no, that's just straight up HDR, 30 frames per second. No DC light, just regular, normal.
Hmm.
Yeah, the HDR video is not bad. Depending on the time of day and what the clouds look like, the HDR video is pretty nice.
What? Somebody gasped. What was that?
Speaking of HDR, I'm going to throw this link up again in the chat. And so anyone that's got an HDR capable phone, that's any of the new Galaxies and iPhone 11, I think iPhone 10 can do it too. Give that link a try and see, just give me some info about what it looks like. I think it looks good on my phone. I think it's, I've figured out how to have reproducible results in Final Cut, but I don't have anybody with an Android device that can do HDR, even though there's a ton of them that can. So if anybody wants to try that link, let me know what you think.
Did you see John look down? I was like, what was that came in? I just admitted you into the group.
Yeah, I'm in. Thank you, sir. I'm in the international group.
Yeah, that mouthful. It's a group, but apparently anybody that's in the group can invite and approve other people. Oh, Sean's got to share. Oh.
Yeah, so this is an HDR shot, right?
Oh, it looks
Don't be
good.
right
Don't make you know,
Sorry.
I didn't know anything to it. Let me fast forward it just a little bit. It's a pretty short clip, actually. I'll just let it play.
Yeah.
But the HDR, and then I got a 4K, not H. It's sort of stuttering. I guess it's just a lag. But notice the skies on some of these. I got one other HDR, and then I'll show you a non-HDR with 4K, and you can see the differences in the same exact spot. So you'll be able to see how the skies are different. The tops of the snow look completely different, HDR on versus off.
Now, have you tried to color grade any of the HDR stuff, Sean?
I don't see a need to yet.
Gotcha.
I mean, it'd be pretty easy. If I was going to do it, I'd probably mess with some of just the contrast ratios. I might tweak a little bit of the lights and make the lights. I'm all about vivid colors.
Yeah,
So,
like getting that GoPro. That's one thing GoPro's does very well.
Yeah, the new Max is incredible, actually. So let me see this one. This one's a good one. Okay, just to see the HDR better, let me open this up and I'll share it with you, and then we'll open up the non-HDR of the same exact area. And I'll scroll through this one because it's a longer clip.
Wait a minute, he's in protest as well. What was this? I'm trying to figure out what Mikey's talking about here.
So, here, I was trying to practice to see if it would work like the Skydio. So I'm trying to hit trees and stuff.
And you made sure your obstacle avoidance was on beforehand.
Yes, I did. And it stops. It wouldn't go above that. It wouldn't go above it. It wouldn't go through it. I'm trying hard to hit it, but so it stops it like it should. But I couldn't get it to actually,
So you would have to, and so APOS is not enabled?
I did have it enabled. Yes. APAS,
and it wouldn't go around. That's wild.
But it does miss these trees. APAS, normally getting this close to trees with APAS off, it would stop. But notice those the tones of the sky. Look at those blue skies. That is the HDR, off, right? And notice turning into the sun, you don't get the same kind of blues, but it's a pretty gorgeous shot here, coming up over the top like this, and sun out or not, and I can't get the stupid pause button out of the way. Come on. Yeah, so there we go. But coming into the sun, so it kills the blue on the skies, but such a cool shot whenever you have things so far in the background moving at a different speed than things in the foreground like that. To me, at least.
Now, can it do a HDR in 1080p at like 60 frames a second, or is it all at 30?
I'd have to turn it on and double check. I think it might be able to, but it can't do it in 4K, and it can't do it anything higher than that. If so, to do higher than 60, it's actually another mode in the Fly app that says slow motion mode or something like that. Okay, let me go ahead and open up this 4K one so you can see the difference in the sky. This is 4K 60, I think.
Yeah, but Ethan, it cannot do 4K 60 and HDR at the same time.
Nope.
But the Skydio 2 can do both at the same time.
I don't think the Skydio 2 shoots true HDR. I'm going to tell you straight up. I'm not going to lie about it.
Well, I'll be honest with you. None of them shoot true HDR except for the Mavic 2 Pro or the Altel Evo 2 Pro.
All right, there it is.
Because it's that Rec 2020, right?
Right. 10-bit. 10-bit.
And just so you guys know, these are without using the filters that were on it. These are all no filterless, no ND filters on it. This is just what it looked like, HDR, no ND filters. And full auto. These are full auto, so a lot of this is without tweaking things. I have some other shots where I'm messing around with it manual, but I like doing stuff as easy as possible. So this, you can see the sky is not quite as blue, but of course everything in the foreground and the bottom is a lot more crisp.
Mm-hmm.
But that HDR will pop a blue sky and make the blue sky just pop more, and a little bit in the greens too, I think.
I use the HDR setting at sunset, and it seemed to give the orange sunset like a weird color hue to it, so it didn't do well at sunset.
And I could probably believe that because I have the Osmo Action and it sucks at sunset. Like, it's my least. I mean, it's a good cheap little point and shoot camera. I don't consider the Osmo Action an action camera. I think they embellished what it was actually meant to be used for.
Right. Well, and this is only HDR. If with HDR off, the colors are true.
Okay, so the Osmo Action just at sunset it's got some weird tones to it. Did you see the behind the scenes video I made on how I was filming that skateboard review video?
I did not.
I didn't catch that.
If you catch the behind the scenes, it actually shows how I set up shots and all that stuff. And the sun wasn't going down at the beginning. And I used the Osmo Action for that entire behind the scenes stuff. So that way I wouldn't mix footage up. And as that, it's a short video. I think it's like 5 minutes. But towards the end of it, everything's got this weird color to it because the action just can't keep up with what's happening in the real world.
Gotcha.
Thank you for coming, Dennis. Come back next week. We're going to have our support your local drone channel. So if you come on and speak in the chat, we'll highlight your channel and get you some more subscribers. Yeah, we do that once a month now. And as I said, I just want to kind of throw that out there ahead of time. Make sure that you come next week because next week is our support your local drone channel week, just like we do it of the Pusa style, where everybody that comes in the chat, we do our best to show your channel and get you some subscribers, highlight some things. We may even have, hopefully, maybe get a guest person in from a larger channel to maybe look at some of the channels and give some advice or something. We'll see. If not, we'll just be crazy like we usually do. And now back to the show. I just wanted to say that real quick and get it out there. Make sure you get your friends in here, anybody that you watch regularly, and we'll try to get you, on the show and show some of your videos and stuff like that.
Hey, before we got to run here, I want to shout out, speaking of big channels, I want to shout out John Cuppi's appearance on the Ken Heron show last week. I loved it. I thought John did a great job as the guest. I talked about this on Philly show last night. I like the point when Ken was trying to trip you up on your first video on your channel, and then he got the second one, and he wanted you to be embarrassed about it, but you, like you said, I'm not taking it down. I'm going to own those videos, and you put Ken right in his place.
Ron, I really appreciate that.
Pea soup. That's all I'm going to say. Pea soup.
Pea soup. When someone tells you, "Hey, think of a joke," it's like,
dude, I can't think of a joke even if I have a week to figure one out.
Exactly. It's like what?
I bet. Give me a second, Google.
Right. Tell me a joke. Alexa, tell me a joke.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh boy. Well, I appreciate that, Ron.
Oh, somebody made my Alexa go off sitting here.
Oh, really?
That's why I got my earphones in, because if I didn't, she goes off every time somebody mentions her name.
That's funny.
And John, that was great. You had the FPV drone, and you were making it play the musical notes or whatever. And the funny thing is, you talked about the B heli thing, and I don't know anything about the drone, but I know what the B heli software is. And you stumped Ken; he never heard of it.
He's getting into FPV too.
Yeah, it sucked that Josh was in bed.
Yeah, that's okay.
Man. It's because we had it all worked out and everything, man. And then he's like, "Yeah, man. Well, I put my boy to bed, and then I fell asleep after I read him a story, And I understood why he couldn't get on cam. Maybe we'll be able to track him down some other time.
Yeah, maybe some other time.
Yeah,
isn't that cool how the motors can sing? I mean, that's even the DJI drones. When you start them up, it's not any. Well, as far as I know, it's not any speaker doing that. It's just the motors making that noise. Really cool.
Ethan had a question.
I was going to ask Sean, how would you compare the Mavic 2 Air to your Mavic Pro Zoom?
Oh man!
Almost knocked my iPad Mini right off the table.
So if my Zoom flew with the same feel of the new controller, I would still prefer my Zoom in every way, shape, or form. I still like the Zoom more than the Mavic 2 Pro. So it's hard for me to say that this would be any better, but this flies really smooth. It really flies smoothly. Picture-wise and everything else, I think. Does anyone know, is it infinite focus on this? Or is it?
Yeah, you don't have to focus on the Air. It's got the infinite.
Okay, because I know the original Air.
People who don't like tap the focus are going to love the Air too.
Yeah. So, I don't know if this is worth keeping for me yet, to be honest. I'm still on the fence if I'm just going to keep my Air 1 and sell this one after I get a good amount of use out of it. It's fun to fly, though. I just wish I could link my Air 1 to the new controller, or maybe they did this on purpose. Maybe they want me to buy a smart controller.
All right, now
for my Zoom.
Yeah, okay, here's the thing. Now, I had told you all about this earlier. I have gotten a hold of the footage. I've been given permission. We need to protect our skies because one thing about drones is they can't get our fearless leader. As you can see, The props in the upper left hand as Grunt Force 1 comes by. Damn near miss.
Grunt Force One.
Oh my
hilarious.
god.
That's great. That's great.
funny. So to the
That's
people
great.
who actually own the Air, I got a question for you. If you've got the Mavic bag, it's nicer than the original Air bag. However, it's the stupidest design in the world at the same time. And let me explain why.
Yeah, that weird zipper, man.
The zipper's upside down. The hinge
Oh,
should be
man.
here, but it's not. Look at this stupid foldy. Let me get it. It folds and then it doesn't want to stay because it's way down here. So
Oh,
you
that makes
gotta,
me think that the zipper's gonna be a problem.
you got to
in the
do this
future.
foldy thing like this, right?
Yeah,
to
and
be
that's
able to
wearing the
push
zipper.
And then when you put it back, now it's all got dents in it, and it's like a Muppet that you stepped on its head.
I do like how they've made a specific cavern, a little place for the drone, though.
Yeah, that little
I mean-
cutout in there is nice.
It's a legitimate criticism. Hey, if anyone was going to come up with a criticism of the bag, it would be Sean Oz because he packs the Mavic. He packed the Mavic Pro 1 like nobody could.
I think you were in the same group as me. Some guy, the reason I made that video was some guy was like, "You didn't fit everything in there. That's impossible." And I was like, "Oh yeah," and I made a video. I was like, "There you go, buddy."
Yeah, well, when you get that, it's like, how the hell do I fit all this in? Like, what am I supposed to do? And it really did. You broke it down.
I played a lot of Tetris growing up.
Okay, here's the thing. I want to. Okay, now since Sean brought up the bag, the first thing I did once I went looking for one, and of course I went with what I personally think is the best manufacturer for drone cases out there is GPC. So. Okay, I ordered my case from them, pre-ordered it, paid them ahead of time, everything. Okay, and then I got all excited because they said, okay, they sent me a notification Sunday that it had shipped, that it went out, Saturday evening, that it had gone okay, and so I'm thinking, well, it's not going to move Sunday, okay, and then Monday, and then Tuesday, and okay, I'm going to share this screen with you all because it's really ridiculous because it looks like the thing has just not moved. It's just kind of stayed in California and it's kind of leisurely taking a stroll here and a stroll there. Let's see, share screen, Chrome tab, checker shipment. And as you can see, it's gone from San Diego. A couple hours later, it went to San Diego. And then a day later, it went to San Diego. And then a day later, it went all the way to Bloomington. And I'm like, dude, how about you just put it on a plane and send it to Seattle?
Someone's probably riding on a bicycle.
Yeah, really. They're doing the cheap route.
Yeah, it loved the weather in San Diego, Bill.
Yeah,
They got it in a Tesla, and they got to hit the charging stations.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
But I tell you, another thing with the Flymore combo, it doesn't come with a car charger like every other Flymore combo you've ever had.
Good point.
Didn't get a car charger with my. Yeah, I did too with my Mavic Air.
Cutting corners. They're cutting
You
corners.
did. They are.
Of course, it has such good battery life, and you get the 3 batteries. You have like an hour and a half fly time with the 3 batteries or something.
But that doesn't solve the issue if you're driving cross country on a road trip and you see something cool off in Utah and you want to pull over and you've already wasted your batteries.
True.
It doesn't fit. The charger doesn't fit with my other ones.
There's your good point right down there at the bottom. Look how old a Nafi is, and it's still holding its price point.
Yep, and the refurb is still about $400. Yep.
It's still a badass drone.
And you don't need a car charger with the Nafi, Ethan, because you could just plug the USB right into the drone into your car's USB port.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, DJI has definitely made it so you have to use their stuff to use their batteries.
Yeah, they definitely taking notes from Apple. That's for sure.
Yeah, the walled garden, huh?
But at least Apple, the other side of the Apple cord is regular USB-C. So you can plug it in anywhere.
Right.
And with this, if you're in the car or anywhere else, I can't charge this thing unless I have an outlet,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Once in a while, you can find an Anafi on sale for $550. I've noticed.
But if you look real hard, you can find the refurbs on Amazon for a little over $400. If you look real hard, you can find them on Amazon brand new for $499 if you keep checking daily, weekly.
Oh yeah, I would definitely scoop one up for $400 without a doubt.
Yeah, the refurb's good for $409. And They vary. When I bought my refurb, mine was perfect. Marcus got one that wasn't perfect, but they let him return it. He got one that was perfect though. So you know.
Yeah, I've knock on wood. Mine has been used and abused and been all over, all over the world. Not the world, but it's been all over, and it's still one of my favorites, hands down.
It didn't get to Cuba like that other little drone did, right?
It did not go to Cuba. No.
What was that little? What was the little drone that made it to Cuba?
That was the Unique Breeze.
Unique, right.
Mm-hmm. That was, it's amazing what that thing could do back in the day. And looking back, how the stuff I did with that thing, I would never risk doing something like that now. But that thing didn't fly very good, but it always came home. So never lost it.
The Dobby, isn't that that's one that's very similar to that too?
I've had the Dobby. The Dobby's this little thing could barely fly. I don't know, across the parking lot. The Breeze is way above the Dobby.
Mm-hmm.
The Dobby fits in your pocket though.
Okay, Marcus is saying the refurb Anafi is on Amazon right now for $415.
And the camera's better on that than all these other drones you could buy for around that price. Like people buying the Phoebe and the Zeno 2 and all these, the Mavic Mini, whatever. Camera's much better than that thing for about the same price.
The camera. The Nafi's camera is just as good, if not. It depends on who you ask, but it's right on par with the Mavic Air, the original Mavic Air. It is right there with it.
I was gonna say, speaking of Idaho Quad, I want to give a shout to Marcus real quick. He sent out the eSheen EX4 to me, so I'm gonna get to play with that. Well, I've already have played with this, and wow, the compass calibration process. Oh my god! And this goes back to what Sean was saying about this whole form factor and how DJI abandoned it, but companies like C-Fly copied it, and this thing is flying off the shelves. Tons of people are buying this thing, so it's obviously still a form factor that people want.
Oh yeah.
So, but it's a shame that the software on this thing is just sadly a disaster. The app is a disaster. Like Ron, you can't even see, and I'm sure you watched Marcus's video, but you can't even see how you're supposed to turn the drone. If I didn't know how this stuff worked to calibrate the compass, I wouldn't know what the hell I was doing. And it tripped me up 3 times. I was just like, you know what? Screw it. I can't get this thing to calibrate. I had to put it off to the side.
Just don't leave it laying on top of your car and drive away.
And then, I had one that was perfectly calibrated. I had one that was perfectly calibrated, and then, I left it on top of my car.
So I just want to talk about one thing that bugs the hell out of me about the Fly app. Because this is my first time. I didn't get the Mavic Mini. I skipped the Mavic Mini.
Okay.
Gimbal pitch speed.
It would be nice. The yaw adjustments, some of the adjustments. But on the top right is a little battery icon. And it's just a little icon. You can tap it and make some other things pop up.
Yep.
But it's white on white in the stupidest design I've ever seen. I missed the Go 4, how it had the whole line going all the way across the screen. And you could just glance real quick while you're flying, whether you're panning, doing something cool. You don't have to stop to tap anything. You just glance, and you know where your battery's at instantly. Where this, you can actually – this is a screenshot, so you can see it. This is actually amazing that you can see it like this. When you're actually flying, it's invisible.
Yeah, when you're out, you can't see that up there. You're right. Why can't they?
That's surprising.
Why can't they make some of those red or different colors?
Or just make that whole damn bar across again.
Yeah.
I'd love to see the bar and it just trickle down as I'm flying longer.
Sean, maybe Altel has a patent on that bar.
They could.
Is that a Fabric Fro?
Is that a Fabric Fro?
Out of the DJI Go 4 app, that's definitely what I gave them mad props to. They made that judging your flight time and your distance from home in relation to your battery life. They made that so intuitive to just see at a moment's notice that I think every drone app should use that design.
Yeah, it's mind blowing to me that no one complained enough on the Mini. And the only reason I think that's probably the case is so many new people bought the Mini that weren't familiar with that feature.
Never saw the Go 4 app, yeah.
Because I didn't touch the Fly app and there's a lot of features in the Fly app that are actually intuitive and easy to use. It took 2 seconds to be able to switch between things. And so far, I've not been able to keep the Fly app actually staying on my last use settings. Every time I turn it on, I've got to go through and reselect settings.
Oh, you're an Android. I think it seems to hold on iOS.
Okay.
But I know the Android app seems to be not as full featured according to Mikey. Hey, one thing I want to run by Sean. Okay, you talked about the fly app and whatever, and I'll talk about the controller in general.
Sure.
How do you like the fact that on the left side you have the gimbal up and down wheel like you're used to, but on the right side you don't have the gimbal wheel to control exposure. You have to or shutter speed. You do it on a slider that's built into the bottom of the screen.
So here's the thing with that is the original Mavic Air didn't have it either.
Oh, okay. I didn't own the Mavic Air.
It had 2 buttons on the side, if I recall, off the top of my head. One you could set as a function button, which they still have a function button on this controller.
Correct.
So it's just in a different spot. So they didn't necessarily take that away from Mavic Air owners. That was a little weird whenever I first started going from like the original Mavic to the Mavic Air. I was like, oh, I missed that, And now I've got to tap this and pull it up and mess with things. But I don't, I think I've gotten so used to it that it's not that big of a deal anymore.
Yeah, I quickly got used to it also, even though, I used to love that exposure wheel when I had Pro 1 and 2 both or whatever. But I think I'm not having any issues adjusting my shutter on the screen down below. And you can see it. It's easier to kind of figure out which shutter speed you're in than when the wheel and you had to look at the top line. Yeah. So I kind of, I'm not saying I prefer it, but I'm working with it real well. It hasn't been the problem I thought it was going to be.
So for me, like when I'm doing stuff like that with the shutter and adjusting apertures and things like that, I just look at the picture. I almost never look at what the number actually is. I'll typically throw my stuff down to 100 to get the least amount of grain as possible and just start adjusting other things all around that. It's rare that you'll see me tweaking it to 400 or higher. Maybe at night I might, but that's about it.
I agree. The only reason I want to set the shutter is if I had to use an ND filter. I want to double the shutter and the frame rate thing or whatever. So
yeah. Now I'll tell you, Ron. For me, everything I do is on YouTube. I don't care about that kind of stuff so much. I don't. I got ND filters. Companies sent me tons of them.
I totally understand.
And I'm at a point where now maybe if I'm going out and I'm shooting for a customer, totally different thing. But for YouTube and trying to pump out content that is knowledgeable yet quick enough to be able to get it out there to be on top of stuff, and that's YouTube's fault that you have to do that. If you don't constantly pump things out on YouTube, your channel vanishes. You get no more push of any of your content. All your videos drop. It's just a stupid way that the algorithm works.
Right.
You've got to constantly be pumping out videos or putting out a video a month that's just insane. So good that we're talking pro level. And the majority of us on YouTube are not doing that kind of content. We're one-man shows. We don't have a graphics team, and we don't have a marketing team, and we don't have an editor. We're doing it all. And that's part of the reason so many of us are into these action cameras and drones and 360 cameras is because they're giving us a way to do that by ourselves.
Yes. Good point.
Absolutely. More every day, so that it's even. I still think that drones are going to get smaller and more compact with more abilities.
I agree with you, Bill.
Just like we see in all these whacked out, futuristic sci-fi movies where they're like, personal assistants like floating along with them.
Yeah.
If the rumors of the next GoPro are true, I'm buying one for sure, and it'd probably be the last camera I buy for a long time. That's not like a pro grade camera.
Okay. So open the door. It's for rumors, and then go ahead and fill in the blanks.
I can't tell you. I can't.
Oh, so you just
I'll
just
tell
a teaser.
It's basically the rumors is they're taking the GoPro Max. It might be a smaller configuration than the current Max, and all the insides of the GoPro 8 are going to be inside that too. Ooh. So imagine an all-in-one. Think of like the Insta360 1R. It's modular, right? Well, the GoPro Max isn't modular. It's still an action camera and a 360 camera combined into the same thing with the best color profile automated you've ever seen in your life, ever. The color profile built in on this thing is insane. Ethan was talking about GoPro's color profile. That is their best camera with color profile ever. However, it doesn't do 120 frames a second. It doesn't do 240. It doesn't have a bunch of other features in photo mode, and it doesn't shoot RAW. The 9 is rumored to be all of that in one.
Wow.
Do you think they're going to put 10-bit color in that? Because I know the Coolcam 360 8K does shoot in 10-bit.
I don't know, man. I mean, the GoPro Max currently has a better picture than the Coolcam, 10-bit or not. It's a better picture. It's almost like, when you have these drones with a 100-bit sensor, yet there's other things in them, and the way the software works with it, then you got another one that comes out that's better, but the picture looks worse. So it's just their software and the way it's going to work together. I don't even know if they'll need to.
And the big question would be how many of their end users would actually use 10-bit versus how much it costs to add to it.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing it's not cost efficient to add it. So few of the end users would actually take advantage of it that it wouldn't be cost efficient to add it in.
My
Good
assumption
point, Ron.
is that to be able to do a 360 camera and then still have one side of the lens in hero mode, which is what happens on the GoPro Max. You actually tap a button on the screen and it instantly reverses it, turns on just one camera, and then you can turn it from whichever camera you want, front facing or rear facing, looking at the screen or not looking at the screen. And you can turn horizon leveling on or off, which locks it in. To be able to pull that off with 240 frames a second and all the other features the 8 has, they're going to have to up their processor, I think, in that thing quite a bit. So they'll probably pinch pennies on other things to get the power to be able to run that, if the rumors are even happening.
If the rumors actually happen, yeah. And I think GoPro never loses focus of the fact that they want to make it as easy as possible to get the best video possible.
Yeah, because I have the 1R camera and the 1X, and the 1R, I'm not going to say it's a bad camera, but if you have the 1X and you don't really want the action lens, set up, it's not worth upgrading from the 1X. It's not that much better. The picture's pretty similar. Now that you can use the 1R editing software, you get all the same features that you can do with the 1R stuff. It's not as big of a step up to me as going to the GoPro Max from the 1X.
Yeah, you really sold me in that Max, and the only reason I didn't jump out and get it because just what you're saying now, I think the ultimate camera will be coming in about October, so I'll just live with the Hero 7 until that one you just described comes out. Now you said that'll be my last GoPro type camera I buy for a long time.
And I'll probably buy 2 of them if they make it wrong. It'll be that good. Fingers crossed, man.
So do we think that they're actually going to come out with another Osmo Action from DJI, or do you think that it was a one-shot deal?
No, I'm sure they'll come out with another one.
I think the pocket will come first. By what you hear in the rumors, there's a lot of buzz about a Pocket 2. That may come first.
Yeah, but
I wish they would. I wish they would. Well, hopefully they take the Mavic 2 Pro's camera and put it on a stick, a handheld. Because the HLG 10-bit off of that thing, I think is just gorgeous. That's all I fly in now.
Right. Well, does DJI still make the? I know they still sell them, but do they still actually make new Osmo mobiles with the camera already on it?
Talking about the Pocket?
No,
Osmos, they had one with the camera already built on, and I know they're still for sale now. But are they updating them? Are they new ones?
I think they have something out that's got the Inspires camera handheld.
Yeah, it's like it's the Osmo Pro or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what does this camera remind you of? To me, it looks almost identical. I mean, I know the insides are different.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much the same layout as the Air 2.
Yeah.
I tried to do a giveaway with this camera, man. I tried to give this thing away, and I couldn't get. I got almost no views on that video.
And still didn't go over, huh?
Nope. I'm gonna try again in the future, but I was pretty bummed. I wanted to give it away, but I had a few subscribers say, "Dude, you didn't even come close to your goal, so save it."
Yeah, there was no sense in trying to go ahead and go through with it. Because people, and the thing about it was were you made a specific criteria before it would be given away?
Yep.
usually all you gotta do is win something, and then everybody just comes and throws it to you, and then they don't follow any rules or anything, and then they get mad at you when you don't give it away.
Yeah, and when I did the video announcing that I wasn't giving away, that was also the video that showed how much money every video I have makes. A 10,000 viewed video, a 100,000 viewed video, and even a 700,000 viewed video. And I showed that to everybody. I said, to get enough money to actually make something off of this, I think it was 100,000 views, maybe would have made me like $350 or so. and I was asking for a video to be shared so I could get 10,000 views, which would make me about $40. This thing's worth more than $40.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right.
I just thought that by being shared like that, it would bring new people to the channel, as well as give new people a chance to possibly win it.
Yeah, exactly.
But hey, guys, I do need to wrap this up. I got to get home.
It's late. It's late for everybody. I know that
We gotta get going.
Ethan, I thought, was going to go out for his birthday, and he ended up hanging with us the whole time. And I'm sure that we're going to have more updates and more things to talk about with the Mavic Air. And since Sean wants to bail first, I'll let him say his good evenings.
I appreciate everyone in the chat hanging out, talking to us, coming to the show, and thanks everyone for having me on the chat with everybody else. So till next time, guys, I'll see you around.
Good night,
Good to see you, Sean. Good
Good
night.
night, Sean.
Thanks for coming in.
Throw it to the
again, everyone.
birthday boy himself.
And happy birthday, Ethan.
Oh, thanks, Sean. Thanks, really appreciate it. Good. Thanks for coming out tonight. But thanks for everybody for coming out. I really enjoyed it, and hope everybody's staying safe. And hopefully, everybody get out and start flying soon. But anyway, with that, thanks again. It's always great seeing everybody. And with that, I'll pass it over to Cuppi.
Thank you, Ethan.
Con
Happy
Jupy.
birthday.
Conjupi.
Con Jupy. Yes, that's
Con
right. I'm hiding. This is the start of me changing my identity so I can hide from the FAA. Yeah, it was always fun. Great discussion about everything from the remote ID to the Mavic Air 2. I definitely learned a lot tonight. Sorry I came in a little late, but it was all good. It was all good, I think. And yeah, I'm gonna be getting sleep soon because I'm a little tired. So let me throw this on over to Ron now, so he can say his good. Hey,
Thank you, John, and I want to thank Sean for joining us tonight. Always great to have Sean Oz on with us, and it was great to have Ethan back on with us tonight. He's been working hard, and it's his birthday, and he still came on the show. So kudos to Ethan, and I agree with John. It was a great show tonight. We really covered a broad range of topics, and I really think we got to dive in deep and really get into a few of the topics. So it was a pleasure to be here tonight, and looking forward to next week's show where we do the shout out type of deal. And I will be releasing that video maybe tomorrow, where I'm the Mavic Air, where I'm editing the footage of Final Cut with the descending light and I'm comparing it to what the HDR footage looks. So look for that on Ron Brown. I'm going to throw it back to Bill.
Okay, very, very cool. I'm happy to have you all here every week. Very grateful to have you here. Your input always, I learn a lot of stuff every week when you're here. And next week, like we've always said, is number 3 of our Support Your Local Drone channel. So please get your friends, get everybody that flies a drone, that has a YouTube channel, to show up next week. And please let them know I'm going to try to get it out. We're going to try to, maybe I can talk John and Ron into doing a couple of little lives throughout next week. Please, since YouTube has done this craziness, please come in, and when we start going live and we're starting to get the channels, post your links to your channel in the chat. We'll make it a lot easier for us to get to your channels, to highlight your channels, and to show them earlier. I will write it up in the description as well, but it makes it a lot easier for us to go through the channels a lot more quickly. And maybe we'll, like I said, maybe we'll invite Sean again sometime, but we'll try to get some people in here maybe to critique channels once in a while. I don't know. And then the following week, we're going to have, is that going to be the first part of June? Yes. We're going to go ahead and Danny Tomas is going to be here. His family and everyone has gone through. They've had some rough times, and he's got everything worked out. So he will be here on the 6th of June. And I'm going, since Ron Brown is here right now, and I'm going to try to get with Ron Lockwood, let's try for June 10th. We'll have a Luminar night. We'll bring out Luminar 4. We'll compare it to maybe some, Adobe Premiere products, maybe some Photo Director, some of those type of things, and of what each one will do and why we like Luminar so much. So with that being said, I am very, very grateful. Thank you so much, folks. We will see you again next week. Live long and prosper.
Let's start.